The fact of the matter is, recognizing that he had the power to do this is why he's pissed off the entire world with these fucking tariffs. And he's using this bravado, I'm forcing them to come to me and bend the knee, like it's a win. And his people think, yeah, we're tough, we're MAGA. You know, they got that whole thing going without recognizing that when he did that and affected millions of people's jobs and millions of people's retirements and millions of people's families and health coverage and veterans that are losing their benefits because their hospitals are closed down and all the shit that came with him getting back in, he needs to be in control of as much as he can. And that is where the ego goes back to who he's been since he was a child. Since he first started pretending to be the PR person for Mr. Donald Trump, this guy named John Barron that would call all the big magazines and all the big reporters talking about how awesome of a businessman Donald J. Trump is and how all the women love him and how he's making all these big moves and he's going to change the world and blah, 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 blah. And the funny part is back in that day, they actually used to record these phone calls. Like there's evidence, there's recordings of this This is John Barron, and I wanted to tell you about the incredible guy Donald J. Trump is. And he's been building from nothing, and going into these stories on how awesome he is and how the women, it always added how the women love him. That was important that John Barron spoke about highly to freaking everybody. And it's not just like little reporters. These are like reporters from Forbes magazine, the Wall Street Journal, like the big... Anyway, it's all been about the ego. Even when he was sued over 4,700 times before even announcing he was running for president, he would postpone all of the suits against him over and over and over and over and over again, using the system against the person who was rightfully trying to sue him because they didn't get paid paychecks or millions and millions of dollars. Insert one of the thousands of people he screwed over here. And he would delay the case, keep throwing daddy's money at it until the other side ran out. And then he declared he won, when in fact he just used the court system and daddy's money against the person who he owed money to. That goes to who he is. That's why I always say you should vote for who the person is, not someone who declared himself a Republican 9 months before running as a Republican. Not someone who 9 months earlier was actually discussing openly women's choices, women's rights, and them pro-choice, and how he's been pro-choice. And there's evidence throughout his entire life that that has been his knee-jerk reaction to any woman that he slept with, because he refused to, wear a raincoat in the rain. It's become just truth. It's all out there, supported 1 million times from Sunday. And this is a guy who puts not only his name on everything, but he once tried to basically trademark the term "you're fired," so he would get paid when people use the term "you're fired." This is a man who, as a second-term president, wants to change Veterans Day to Victory Day for World War I instead of Veterans Day. He wants to have a military parade costing $98 million, coincidentally on his birthday, replacing another national holiday. He wants his face on the $100 bill. He also wants his face on Mount Rushmore. He wants the biggest trade channel through the United States to be named the Trump Strait. He wants to control Greenland, the Panama Canal. He's telling Canada to become the 51st state and bow down to him. Their response is not only by making sure they elect someone who told Trump to fuck off many, 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 many times. They also, and that went off to Australia too, by the way. Thank you, Donald Trump, for keeping the balance there. But anyway, it has been spoken, his arrogance in trade and in everything he does, and his blatant corrupt moves across the board worldwide have screwed over and pissed off this entire fucking world, which is a message I have been talking about since day one. We are shoulder to shoulder worldwide, not just coast to coast. We are all in this together. We are fighting the same battle, so we need to unite no matter what. And the people that are very, very late to the game recognizing the bullshit that he has caused, because now it's causing them pain, so now they may pay attention. Hint, 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 MAGA, take off your fucking hat. The problems you're having are nothing compared to the ones coming soon when the shelves are more bare than during the pandemic. And it's 100% your guy who did it. We need to recognize that this man's ego has caused these problems. And in the midst of him causing all these problems for so many different countries and so many people worldwide, he is also, and because I'm an optimist and I'm a silver lining guy, his vacancy has pushed the need for communication internationally between the citizens. It has pushed the need for communities to form, just like here on TikTok, just like Revolution Washington Family and the families all over these wonderful social media platforms. It has pushed the need for everybody to recognize the truth that we are all on the same team. We don't have to agree with each other about every freaking thing and every way to protest. We don't have to do that, but we need to recognize we're all on the same team, and we need every single set of shoulders standing side by side. That is our focus, because united we stand, divided we fall. When these people have a chance to stand up, we expect them to stand up. Until then, we are united, because that's how we will win back what we deserve, because an arrogant egomaniac needs it to be spelled out to him that he's not who he thinks he is. So as he's wanting to force all of these things to be named after him, the Democrats are, with a smile on their faces, putting up paperwork to name the biggest federal maximum security prison in the state of Florida after him. And I vote for that. Ladies and gentlemen, this democracy is stronger than an attack of this size. And the 99% of us are uniting worldwide. So instead of getting afraid of all this crazy batshit things that we're hearing about, and the big list of things he wants to name after himself, and recognize there are people stopping each and every one. Stay diligent, stay educated, and be kind. We are all in this together. And there is a shit ton more of us than there is of them. God bless.